What's happening, guys? This is the Comica VM20 and we're going to take it out for a review. But before that, we're going to be changing over the shotgun and removing my old shotgun, replacing it with my new shotgun, and let's see how it sounds. So I've been using the Comica VM20 for about a week now in different situations, and the main reason why I've actually purchased the Comica VM20 is simply because of the reliability. So I've been using this, which is a powered, non-branded shotgun mic, and it has actually served me quite well, but as you can see, I've actually had to tape on the actual capsule because it has actually broke. This microphone, even though it sounds great for the price, isn't exactly reliable. So I've been looking at obviously the usual suspects. So we're talking the Rode, we're talking the Sennheiser, and of course we're talking the Deity D3 Pro. Now the Rode VideoMic NTG and the Deity D3 Pro both resemble similar features like the Comica VM20. It's got similar type of features, so we're talking the low pass filter, both 75Hz and 150Hz. Both can be engaged with just a flick of a button, and it's as simple as that. Now, because it's a powered microphone, you have actually got a stepless gain dial, which you can just adjust on the fly. So I've got it currently just boomed about, you know, a couple of centimeters away from my mouth, just technically just slightly outside of the frame itself. And I can actually just adjust the dial, so I can have it lower if I wanted to, and of course I can have it higher if I wanted to as well. And because of the feature, that's actually a game changer, because the previous mic that I've had, it just had a switch. So you've got plus 10 dB, minus 10 dB, and that's it, nothing else. You can't actually just adjust it on the fly. That meant that I did have to go into the camera setting to adjust the preamp accordingly, because it might be a bit too high, it might be just a little bit too low, and I still had to adjust it. Now with this, I kind of set it to +8 on the dial, so it gives me +9 and +10 in case I need to go slightly higher. But most of the time I do actually need to crank it down a bit, because the mic itself is actually really good. Now it is powered like I've mentioned, however it doesn't actually require a removable battery to actually use. You can actually just charge it via USB-C. All of the cables is included. Now with these microphones, the great thing about them is you can actually use them in different ways. So you don't actually have to have, you know, dedicated video camera or hybrid camera to actually use this on top of the shotgun mic. So I'm currently using it most of the time with my main video camera, but at the same time you can actually use it with your mobile phone, and it actually has got the actual necessity wires to actually allow you to use that. So you've got two sets of wires, one is a TTR and the other one is a TTRS, designed for mobile phones. That way you can actually use it, you know, vlog with your mobile phone. So currently the microphone is boomed, and this is essentially what I normally actually do to get as close as possible if I'm just sitting down. But most of the time the application is to be used on top of your hot shoe. With that, you actually get a Ryko style, I think that's how you say it, one of these suspension that you should be able to mount the shotgun right inside there. Now with that, you actually got a cold shoe, so you can actually mount it to your hot shoe on top of your camera. And as you can see, you've also got the ability to actually put it on a tripod mount, so you can actually, or 3.5mm, not 3.5, but a quarter screw, so you can actually screw it onto a tripod in case you actually want to do that. Now with that, you actually got two types of wind deflector. So you've got your puff or windscreen, I think that's what you call it, and then at the same time you've also got a relatively small dead cat. Now this is designed so that you can actually slip this and that and use it at the same time to get the utmost windscreen. And speaking of windscreen, let's take it outside and see how it actually sounds. Okay, so you are currently listening to the Comica VM20. I'm currently on top of a car park rooftop, so essentially this is the sound coming from quite high up, so you should be able to hear the ambience around me, or not able to hear the ambience around me. I currently have got the wind muff on top, and at the same time it has got the dead cat on at the same time as well, so you should be able to reject any type of wind. But of course, the dead cat itself isn't exactly how can I say, large, if that makes sense. But you should be able to actually hear me. It has actually got a stepless gain dial, so you should be able to hear me quite clearly. Now the preamp on the Canon R6 is actually currently all the way down, well, as much as possible. It should be quite clear. It has actually got low cut filter, so you should be able to actually hear the ambience reduction or the actual rumble at the background. You should be able to reduce the sound on that right now. I'm going to enable that right now. Okay, so this is with the 75 low cut filter enabled. So this is what the sound actually sounds like. You should be able to get away with it. It doesn't actually interfere with your voice that much, but you should be able to reduce the ambient surround sound, especially if you've got something like a rumble, like a, you know, like a high wave sound, or something like an AC, even the wind itself anyways. But I'm going to actually enable the 150 low cut filter. Okay, so currently you are listening to the Comica VM20, practically maxed out on the stepless gain dial, and at the same time it has actually got the low cut filter set to 150 Hertz. So this is the max that the low cut filter would allow you to do, but it doesn't actually sound natural. With me, I tend to leave it completely as natural as possible and just set the preamp to as low as possible and practically max out the stepless gain dial. It is currently set at 10, which is a bit risky because sometimes you might actually want to increase it. So I'm going to actually set it down a little bit and turn up the preamp. Okay, so I got kicked out of the car park. It's a multi-story car park that's overseeing quite a lot of important building, so security got to me in about 10-15 minutes. See, I've noticed with the dead cat itself, you have to actually turn on the gain quite a little bit, because of course, you know, it is actually deflecting quite a lot of unwanted sound. So currently right now you are listening with the Comica VM20 set to about 8, and on the actual gain on the preamp it's set a little bit higher than usual, but hopefully that shouldn't actually interfere and introduce noise. I'm not actually going to test it inside city center and see the isolation, rejection and all that kind of stuff, because I find it quite odd me holding a big ass camera. But if you guys actually want to see that, here's me talking to the side of the microphone, and here's me talking to the back of the microphone, and of course here's me talking directly into the microphone itself. See, what I have actually noticed with the, you know, cheaper powered shotgun type of microphone such as this one, the Deity D3 Pro and the NTG is exactly the same, the VideoMic NTG, is that they sound super nice and clear as soon as you close up, but as soon as you know, slightly further away than usual, let's just say you're vlogging, not vlogging, but let's just say you're interviewing someone with 35mm lens or even 50mm lens, once you've got that separation from whoever you're actually trying to record, it doesn't actually sound all that great. So I'm actually going to test it out now with my tripod, see if I've actually got some space. Okay, currently right now I'm in a quiet space, just a little footpath. I'm actually going to test it out right now. So currently what you're listening to is the Comica VM20 with the dead cat and all the, you know, wind muff, both of them stuck together, and this is what the audio sounds like. But as soon as I actually walk back just a little bit, still talking into the mic itself, this is what the audio is. I'm about, I'd say about 3 meters away from the camera itself, and altogether the audio is completely just quiet, you know. I mean, you can gain the audio just a little bit, but that's not what you want, and I think that's not what the purpose of this actual microphone is. The purpose is mainly for vlogging and just filming, and this is what the audio that you can get. Now there are a couple of I'd say cons to this microphone that the other Deity D3 Pro and the VideoMic NTG actually has got that this microphone actually doesn't, and that is the auto on and off feature. The Rode has actually done this since the VideoMic Pro Plus, and obviously integrated it to the VideoMic NTG. The Deity D3 Pro does the exact same thing. However, with the Comica VM20 it doesn't actually do that, so that's mainly a con. The reason why I'm saying it's a con, because it's not as simple as just flicking on a switch. You actually have to hold down the power button for what seems like 2 to 3 seconds, which is an additional thing that you have to consider and think about before you can start shooting. So if you're like a running gunning then you're gonna have to either leave the microphone completely on the entire time, or you have to make conscious decision, making sure you're pressing the microphone for more than 2 seconds, otherwise it just won't activate at all. It's one of those situations like, are those features really important to you? If that's the case, then of course you shouldn't really be looking at this microphone. Okay, and that is all of the features for the Comica VM20. It's a great microphone, I really do like it. You know, I don't actually have any buyer's remorse, and like I've mentioned, this microphone is mainly intended for vloggers and amateur style filmmakers, because I don't see any high-end professional features other than just great sounding quality that this microphone actually offers. So for that, I do actually believe that it's mainly intended for those type of people as opposed to professional filmmakers. But you can actually get away with this, and more importantly, do you actually hear, you know, any type of handling sound? You know, do you actually hear me shaking the camera or anything like that? As you can see, the sound is actually not bad, to be honest. And the best thing about this whole setup, so you've got your actual shotgun mount that you can detach from the actual hot shoe itself, so you can actually use it on different applications. Currently I've actually got it boomed on top of my dedicated microphone stand, so you can actually just use it on there. You've actually got 2 sets of cables, so one's dedicated for the camera and the other one is of course dedicated for mobile phone applications. You've actually got a, you know, relatively pretty cool looking shotgun mount. On top of that, you get a whole host of wind deflectors, so with that you can actually, you know, get some relatively great audio. And on top of that, the price itself is actually cheaper than the competitors. So we've got the Deity D3 Pro, which is just under £200 here in the UK. You've got the VideoMic NTG, which is over £200, I believe around £250 on Amazon. And then you've got the Comica VM20 for under £150. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So if you did enjoy this video, then please like and of course subscribe. If you've got any further questions, comment down below, and of course I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.